company active in several global markets. It is a pleasure for me to welcome up on stage Johanna, Wollert, Melin. A warm hand.
So, my name is Johanna Melin. I'm one of the founders of Trice Imaging. And wow, it's such an honor for me to be here with you tonight, with all brilliant and cool entrepreneurs in the audience and all of the startup world in Sweden. It feels like homecoming, back to Sweden, where our company was born, to tell you about the journey that Trice has been on for the past 6 years. So Trice Imaging is a cloud solution for medical images. We have headquarters in San Diego. We are installed in 7 countries, and we have a monthly subscription model where the clinics pay for what they use. Today, we have global partnership with Philips, Samsung, and Sonosite. And ever since we launched the first version of Tricify, our dream has been to become like Intel's brand, Intel Inside. We would like to have our beautiful product, Tricify, embedded in every ultrasound device out in the world. And I'm pleased to announce I just came off the plane from Dubai just 2 hours ago, where we launched the first solution together with Sonosite, where we have Tricify inside. We have a long way to go to become the global products of our dreams, but we're on the right track. And I'm pleased to be here today to share our story to this point and what we learned so far. Ignorance is bliss. What you don't know can sometimes help you. So when we started Trice Imaging, we were a mobile platform. We were helping companies out in the mobile channel. We'd have all types of customers the first year. We had newspapers, dating sites. We even have a fitness chain here in Sweden. We had a world-class mobile platform. But we got an inspiring idea during a workshop with Sweden's biggest OB clinic called Mamma Mia, when one of the staff members asked us, so can you get the ultrasound image out to your phone? We thought that idea was brilliant because we knew in former experience, if you have an existing behavior that is on print today, it's going to go digital. So we decided, let's try to build it. Let's try to build a solution where you can share medical images directly from any type of imaging device. It took us 9 months and all the resources we had and all the money we had to build the first solution of Tricify. And when we were building the solution, we didn't know anything about DICOM, HL7, query and retrieve, security protocols, or FDA. And without legacy, we came out with a really elegant and simple way to share medical images directly from the imaging device. And I truly believe that what you don't know can sometimes help you. Because if we were from the industry, we would have approached innovation with all of the legacy that you have from the healthcare standards, and that would have limited our imagination what the product would be. So when we launched the first version of Tricify here in Sweden in May 2009, we had a marketing budget of $150. $150, not $150,000. That's what we spent on our first press release. And with that press release, we got a lot of attention around the world. And I will say that's just a lesson by itself. It seems like the press seems to love technologies and babies. So, because of all of the attention we got from the press releases, we got invited to a show in San Diego called the Wireless Reach Influencer Conference, where we met with Dr. Eric Topol. We told Eric Topol what our technology could do for the imaging industry. And Dr. Eric Topol told us, I'm leaving to my TED speech in 1 hour to talk about digital health. If you have 2 slides on your technology, I will show it to the world. And if you can see here on the image, you have Dr. Eric Topol, one of the US most famous cardiologists, today known as the father of digital health, together with Jeff Imlet, the CEO of GE, introducing their new portable ultrasound device called the vScan. And at this time, the vScan wasn't connected and couldn't send digital images, and it can't even send digital images today. And Dr. Eric Topol is saying here to Imlet So if you combine these two technologies, Trice and the Vscan, you have a game-changing product. So when we came home from the US and all of the attention that we received, and all of the people talking to us about the huge potential our innovation could have in the world, me and my amazing business partner decided to have a strategy day at my mom's beautiful house in the archipelago here in Sweden. And at this time, we knew we tapped into an idea that had massive market potential. But we didn't have any money. And the business that we built so far were not doing so good. So during this day, we created Trice vision and strategy to build a global product to replace printouts and CDs on any imaging device existing out there today, and long-term try to embed our system in portable ultrasound devices. And our vision is still the same today. We have stuck for our vision and mission for good times and for bad times. And I remember us looking at each other this day and said, we were looking at each other and saying, so let's go big. Let's try to rock the industry of imaging. Now, just because we knew, or our vision, we knew where our destination or our vision was clear, didn't mean that we know the fastest way to get there or the best way to reach our destination. We have met thousands of struggles along the way, and we have many roadblocks, and we have had many fights along the way. But I believe if you know where you want to go and you're clear about the destination, it's much, much easier to handle all of the struggles along the way. So, leading is bleeding. Use the blood as fuel. So if you're going to build a global innovation or a global product, you have to commit to become a profit. The first year, we went to all of the imaging shows in the US and Europe, trying to inspire the industry what our solution could do for the industry and for the vendors. And to be honest with you, it didn't go so well. We can have easily be discouraged because of all the resistance that we met along the way. But we didn't let the resistance shake our beliefs in our product. But I specifically remember one meeting that we had on a European show. We've been talking to a lot of people at one of the biggest vendors. And one person introduced us to the right director. And we were so excited that we got a couple of minutes with the right director that can actually take Trice to the next level. So we did our pitch, how to replace CDs and printout, and to send digital images from his imaging devices. His response to our pitch was to pity us. He tilted his head, put his hand over my business partner's shoulder and said, "Girls, that is never, ever going to happen." My quick business partner, she tilted her head to the other side and said, "That's what Sony Music CEO said about iTunes and Napster." And 2 years later, he lost 50% of his revenue. This meeting really fueled us. And we looked at each other and said, we are going to prove him wrong. But the lesson here is, if you're early in a paradigm shift, you have to get used to meeting or people reacting to your idea in this kind of way. People will ignore you. People will laugh at you. People will fight you. But don't stop believing in your product. And ignore the people that are laughing and throwing stones at you. And bring on the people that believe in you and your product. And show the industry you're in how your product can make a difference. So, no guts, no glory. Bet it big on your idea. So when you want to go big, you need money. We had an innovation that had a global market potential, but we had one customer in Sweden. So we needed to secure a patent. And a normal patent process takes like 3 to 7 years. But our patent lawyer in the US recommended us to go with a new patent process, an expedited patent process. An expedited patent process means that you would know if you have a patent within 6 months. But there is a catch. If you get an denial, you can't appeal, as you can in a normal patent process. So that would mean that we wouldn't have any protection for our innovation or that we could apply again. But we decided, let's go for it. And 5 months later, our most important patent was issued to tag phone number and emails directly into a DICOM file on an imaging device. And this patent has been amazing for our company in so many ways. It's helped us to secure the first funding round, it helped us to get the vendors' attention, and it also been helping us to create barriers to our competitors, and today we also get license money for our patent. The big move, follow the money. So we started out in Sweden, and Sweden will always be our home. But 40% of the imaging market is in the US, and all of the bigger vendors have their headquarters in the US. And we did the math. Either we have Kaiser Permanente, who's the biggest hospital group in the US with 9 million members, or we have all of the hospitals and clinics in Sweden. And the choice is pretty easy, right? So we decided to move our company to the US, thinking that this will be our golden ticket. And of course, it wasn't that easy. The first year was tough, and we'd done our market analysis poorly. We had underestimated the time it would take us to get an FDA approval, which meant that we couldn't sell our product on the US market the first year. We have also underestimated the time it would take us to build a solid network. So even though it was the right decision to move our company to the US, it wasn't perfectly executed. So my advice to all of the companies here sitting here would love to move your company to the US. Make sure you bring on advisors that could guide you early on the American market. Make sure you've done your due diligence flawlessly so you know what type of approval or certification you need to have to sell your product on the US market. And when you come over to the US, hire Americans with the right Rolodex that can actually build your business or take your business to the next level. There's no reason to build your own network when you can tap into others. Dancing with elephants. So the first 2 years in the US, we built our own direct channel, trying to prove our product on the American market. But we also courted and dating the bigger vendors like Philips, Sonosite, Samsung, and GE. We did all kinds of trials, test installation, market analysis, interviews with potential customers. We actually danced any dance they asked us to dance. We foxtrotted, we waltzed, we tangoed, trying to prove to them that we were the right partner. With one of the bigger vendors, we actually negotiated a global agreement with 3 times. And 3 times they left us at the altar. They left us because of leadership shift internally. They left us because other departments thought that they could build the solution by themselves, and also other type of conflicts and politics within inside the department at the vendor. But we never ever gave up on them. So during this year, we created something in the Trice history that we're calling the poking strategy. And the poking strategy is a little bit like dating. You can never ever stop impressing them on how good you are. So we went on a publicity breeze. We did all kinds of announcements towards the vendor, new impressive customer, new impressive advisors, new impressive trials they were doing, new features in our platform. We even did fake announcements and fake hirings to get their attention back. And it worked. They came back. So my lessons through the years dancing with the elephants, and we actually still are dancing with the elephants, is to make sure that you have an internal champion that could guide you from the inside. Make sure that you know why they want to do this deal, and make sure you're clear to the vendor why you want to do this deal, and make sure that you have all of the paper in place when it comes to legal, compliance, quality system, KPIs, because you're going to need them. If a global company is doing a deal with a startup, that process is going to be rigid. And never ever stop poking them. And my last recommendation is dance with all of them. We danced with all of them, and today we have global partnership with Philips, Sonosite, and Samsung, and we're still dancing. Do leadership. We have a do leadership strategy in our company. It means that we on new market and new segment, trying to prove what our technology could do when it comes to lower healthcare costs, improve clinical processes, and also ultimately save lives. Here on the screen, you can see one of our latest Do Leadership products that we've done in Morocco. So in poor parts of the world, 2 to 3% of women dying because they don't get the right type of care during their pregnancy or during the deliveries. With our technology and the access to ultrasound, you can actually significantly improve that number. So we've proven that you up in poor parts of Morocco, if you have access to ultrasound, you can train any type of healthcare worker to do an ultrasound exam, as long as you have access to an expert somewhere in the world that can help you and to guide you that you're doing the right thing and help you with the diagnosis. So we have proven that you actually can lower the healthcare cost in this region by 50% if you have a technology like this. Today, the Moroccan government have decided to buy this technology for 250 health houses, and the implementation starts in June. This strategy has been amazing for us in many ways because we receive new partnership, we have entered new markets and new segments, but it's also been a really good way for us to build our global brand. This project actually gave us the GSM Award this year for Best Mobile Health Innovation globally, which we are super proud about. Take good care of your assets. Be careful with the beautiful product you spent years on building. I don't want to bore you with details, but lately we had a really, really nasty bug in our system that created a lot of sleepless nights. And there's no strategy in the world that can help you if you don't have operational excellence. So make sure that you have quality in everything you do, from software development, testing, launching, evaluation of third-party vendors, customer support. So today we are leaders. It took us 6 years, but today we're perceived as leaders in our industry. It's a great feeling when one of the director from one of the bigger vendors a couple of months ago told us, we might be the biggest company, but Trice is the leader. Wow, what a victory for us to hear those words, but at the same time, really, really, really scary. Man, it's time to up our game. Because if you are the leader, you have to maintain that position. And it's easier to hunt than to be hunted. And we know that Trice's journey to become the global product of our dreams has just begun. And with those words, I want to say thank you for listening to me. It was an honor and a pleasure to be here today.
Okay. Thank you, Johanna, for such an inspiring sharing of your experiences. It's an amazing story.
Thank you.
And it has only begun, as you said. So I think we should take the opportunity to ask Johanna a few questions. So I turn to you, the audience. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Come on. I want to see hands raised. There you have one.
Hey, Fredrik. Nice to meet you again. You want to have some numbers? Let's talk in the, yes.
Any more questions? Okay, so I have one for you, Johanna.
Okay.
So you started here in Sweden.
Yes.
And then you quite fast moved to the US. But you have experienced the difference in climate for a startup, I think, in Sweden and in the US. Could you perhaps elaborate a little bit on that? I mean, there are obvious differences, but what's the biggest?
It's such a long time ago since I was here in Sweden, and it feels like the climate here in Sweden it's getting so much more better than it was when I left. But in the US, everything is about the big dream. And it's kind of cool to be an entrepreneur in the US. And I would say, actually, that's maybe the same here in Sweden now today. And it wasn't maybe that when I left here. And I would say it's easier, I believe, to do deals with bigger companies in the US than it is to do that here in Sweden. It's a higher barrier to do an agreement with companies that would, try you out.
Yeah.
And in the US, I would say you do have acceptance. Most of the clinics and bigger hospitals would like to try out a new idea, and if it doesn't work, they just throw you out after a month.
Yeah. And that we're going to have a panel discussion on actually today, so don't miss that later on today, I think. Can you say, if you have to pick one success factor, is it possible?
Perseverance. Perseverance.
Okay.
And perseverance and believing in our product and never, never, ever, ever give up.
Thank you. So please remain on stage. I'm
Okay.
going to ask Jonas from Studio.